Hey everybody, this is Brett from over at Moonstream. Just wanted to say hey and give you a market update here. Been out of the country for a couple weeks down to Mexico. Unfortunately, not a whole lot was going on in the markets, but now finally we're seeing some activity and I wanted to share with you what I'm seeing. So let's jump over to the charts here. So basically on this page here, I'm going to go a little smaller. In the DXY, unfortunately, we saw this pushing up yesterday and rejected coming down. Yesterday, we were waiting on that ETH news for the ETFs. DXY was starting to push up above this really important 105 number and did for a little bit, but unfortunately today we're seeing that reject. We're seeing that in as a bearish engulfing candle. So I do think that markets are going to go higher from here, and we see the DXY roll over as you can see on this chart. And my base case here has been that we push down these two scenarios. I thought for a while we might push up to 107. Fortunately, we didn't see that. And as we go down and lose this 104 level, then we're down into the Bitcoin rally zone and even down towards Bitcoin super pump rally zone, down below 100, down in this range. So with that, let's jump on over to the total market cap. I want to show you a couple things here. Somewhat of concern, we're putting in lower highs, and of course the total market cap is what we want to be watching. The high of the last cycle, of course, was right up to $3 trillion, almost to the dollar, proverbial dollar, that is. It was just a little bit over it, but this is a key level we want to watch, as is this 2.6 trillion. But we are in a bull flag pattern here, which we've kind of see play out in a couple other coins, and we'll look at that as well. But if we use this as a flagpole and this is the flag, then if we do the measured move on this, let's just do this together, then we could be in for a wild ride here on the upside once this flag does play out. So what I'll do is I'll just copy that, and this is the measured move on the flagpole breakout. Some people draw it differently, but if we do push down, this could push us up to 3.85 trillion fairly easily, and so we'll be watching that. I do want to put on let me just put on the order block detector. A lot of sell orders, and some people have asked, how do you have sell orders on the total market cap? Not exactly sure with the indicator. It's measuring maybe where futures and other derivatives are, but at any rate, these have been very telling. This is part of our new M3 Active Trader Pro indicator tools, and by the way, we're doing a demo on those tomorrow, which I'll tell you about how you can jump on and see some of these new tools that we're using, including the Bollinger Band, the modified Bollinger Band tool that has been excellent for when to take profits and sell. Invariably, when it hits the upper Bollinger Band as we modify it, we don't use the standard Bollinger Band with the two standard deviations. That doesn't work for crypto. We modify it a bit, so that when it's touching the upper Bollinger Band and when it closes at or above, we get these vertical red lines showing that it's probably going to reverse, as we saw here. And certainly sometimes we can ride it all the way up, but typically touching that upper Bollinger Band will be a pause point to go sideways, take some profits, and we've color-coded it that way just to make it easier to see. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I want to show you, let's see, I want to show you on the total market cap, I thought I had a fib on, yeah, the Fibonacci. So let me turn off the Bollinger Band. It's interesting that the fib from the swing low to the swing high on this came right down to, I'll just move it over to the right. We did come right down to that 50% retracement level, which you can see here. So we tested it once, twice, even 3 times, and it held. And then we're putting in a slightly higher high. So that is an indication that we're ready to go higher, putting in higher lows. I think we could see a bit of a pullback here, and then we just push on up through this range. So let's go ahead and take a look at the IBIT as well. I've been watching the 4-hour IBIT for some time since it came out. So all the way back here when it broke out above this 25 level, have the green arrow here showing that further upside. And so we saw that, and then consolidation, pumped higher, and sort of been going sideways with some selling along the way. But now we're in a new upward trend channel. We're coming off that lower trend channel. So this is what we want to see. Of course, ETF money flowing back into Bitcoin and pushing things higher. So that's a good sign there. Jumping over to the Bitcoin chart, let's just take a look at on the daily, and then we'll also look at the weekly and the monthly. So again, the daily chart, we're having a tough time up in this 71K, 72K range. I'm a big believer that usually breakouts happen on the 3rd or the 5th attempt. I've been looking at charts and trading since 1999, back when E-Trade was a green screen and a flashing cursor. Looked a little bit like DOS, but we've been watching these things for a long time. So 1, 2, and 3, and now fourth rejection sets us up very nicely for a breakthrough to the upside on the fifth attempt. So if I were to draw this, what I will be expecting here, guys, is a bit of a pullback here on Bitcoin. I think that's certainly reasonable, and then giving us that launch pad to come down and go even higher. The TradingView tool is giving me a little bit of trouble lately. It doesn't like you to draw them over each other. So bounce into this range, break up to new highs, and then retest that, and then go even higher. I ran out of room on that, but you can kind of see what I'm suggesting here. Once we break new highs, I think it's a pretty fast run up to 100K. So, could be looking at new highs in June here next month, maybe a retest down here, and then we push up into the later months of the summer. Totally fine, and this is what I would expect to see, and similar charts on the total market cap. Also, if we draw this down, worst case scenario, we come back down into this 65K level and then push higher. This is what the daily charts are telling me. However, the monthly charts, I want to be open to the fact that we could see a deeper correction. So let me show you what that looks like, and just going over to monthly on Bitcoin here, because when in doubt, zoom out. You want to be sure that you're looking at all the angles. There is something else that I'm watching too. I've looked over years. Often these large candles, some people call them vector candles. Essentially, it's when the market maker is repricing the range. Very often we see that midpoint retest before going higher. And we've talked about this in the past, even on the downside. So you can see this vector candle came up and retested the midpoint. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So often you do see these, like this vector candle came down, retested the midpoint. So anyway, without going too far into that, if we came back down, we could certainly retest this 52K level on this monthly time frame, but also zooming out, we still would be in a macro bull pattern, even if we came all the way back down into this sort of 37K range. I don't think that happens, but we've seen it come back down to this line in the past, here and here and here. So it wouldn't be the end of the world. Even 50K, I can see that being a nice bounce point. That would be around that 21-month EMA, but I do want to put it on your radar. A lot of people are saying, wow, I wish you could have bought some Bitcoin down lower. If you do get the chance, don't be afraid that this range in here, anywhere, if we do see pullbacks anywhere in this area, would be a great place to buy some more of Bitcoin. And so you guys keep that on your radar. I'm not sure we do, but that's certainly possible. Okay, also want to turn something on for you guys and show you these signals that we have, the early reversal indicator pro. This shows order blocks and buying power. This is money flow. This light green box is money flow. A lot of money came in here. These have typically held in when retesting, have not gone below that. So this is a strong signal here on this monthly time frame for Bitcoin. And I will also call attention to the green arrows here. I've talked about it a little bit in the past, and this is one of our proprietary discoveries and indicators here. Let me just go to this chart a little bit cleaner. Hang on. I want to make sure it goes all the way back out. So basically, in terms of, this is only triggered 4 times, this green arrow back here in 2012 at the market, near the market cycle bottom, and here in 2015, pretty much at the market cycle bottom, and of course here in 2019, and just this past one in January. So the only 4 times this is triggered on the monthly time frame was at the market bottom. This is why we were saying get into the markets back here in January. On the weekly time frame, it's been excellent at calling the market tops, and so just zooming out on this, we caught it back in here in 2021, these two, and also along the way on the upside too when we overlay it with one of our trend strength indicators. We have a new pro indicator called the RSI Pro. I'm not here to talk about that today, but if you would like to join for a free training here, which is Saturday, all you have to do is go over to moonstream.io/max training, and you can register for that. And I'm going to be walking through these because guys, we're here to give you all the tools that you need in these markets. I think the bull run is right around the corner, and here's a video of me explaining this a little bit that we just uploaded. So this is tomorrow at noon Eastern, Saturday at noon Eastern. So anyway, join us for that if you'd like to learn more about these tools that we are using to better time these markets. And one of the other ones that we haven't even talked about yet, I'll just give you a sneak peek, is our market screener, which is pretty cool because it's starting to show some really interesting things here. If it's green all the way through, that looks like a pretty good chart. And let me go to the daily because that's going to be a little bit different and move that out of the way. So finally, these are starting to turn green. I do like Chainlink. I want to give you guys some value here. I think Chainlink looks pretty good here. Let's pull up a chart of Chainlink and take a look at that here in a moment. And let's clean this up a little bit. I'll go over, let me just do Bitcoin on the daily time frame, and I'll hide the scanner. The charts do get a little bit messy when you have all these on here, so fortunately you can move them around and also set alerts on these for various things that you want to see happen. That's a lot of what we've been doing lately. Also, one of these indicators that we have called a dynamic average true range has just flipped into entry zone. Let me get rid of this big circle here. We talked about that being a pullback zone, pretty big on the daily chart, but in the short term, I like the fact that the dynamic ATR, which can be used as a dynamic stop loss, but we want to see it in entry mode to go long. Now we can see that in the past when it flips from exit to entry has typically been the start of a nice uptrend in Bitcoin. So there, and then it flipped entry here again. So we've been in an exit zone for several months now, just flipped back to entry on the dynamic ATR. I would expect again to see some kind of a minor pullback here. Then we break up through and either break to new highs, at least retest the recent highs. So with that, let's see. Let's look at some other coins. ETH, didn't really move much on the ETH ETF news. It already was priced in. But what do we have here, guys? We have a bull flag breakout here, if you guys can see this. I know there's a lot of lines on there. Let me clean that up a bit. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's that little midpoint of the vector candle, though. I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back on ETH to around 33.90-ish before resuming this and heading up higher. But here again, the the flag and the measured move on that. For ETH, about 48.59, I'd be taking profits right into this sell order block, which again is one of our indicators. It's been really helpful in terms of catching bottoms and tops. You see where the price came down into this order block right in this range and then bounced right out of it. So similarly on the sell range, I'd be looking for that. And we had predicted or made a recommendation to buy ETH a couple months ago. Our take profit zone there is at 5K. I would probably front run that a little bit, take profits around 4,800, 4,900 just to get out because the musical chairs, when the music stops, nobody wants to be the last one standing, and we're seeing more and more of that front running these big round numbers. So I take profits along the way. Good idea to do. Solana, looking pretty interesting here. It's wedged between two buy blocks. I do think Solana is looking very strong and just resting here. Once it clears this 200 and 220 level, I think it's off to the races. Did want to talk about Chainlink briefly, and then we'll wrap up this video. But Chainlink, I do like the chart on this. Why? Because we are right out of a buy block, and we have the EMAs, the 21 and 50-day EMAs starting to turn higher. And on the weekly time frame, which is what I was watching, we are poised for going higher. Our indicators, specifically the early reversal indicator. So as I showed before, these green arrows are really powerful, especially on weekly time frames. So we're getting a bullish ERI. That's the early reversal indicator. And let me open this up for you guys a little bit. And we're seeing that money flow coming in this green block. So here and here, we've got a buy block just below, which is held price very nicely through that $14 range. So we have that, the wind in our back there. And our trend strength indicator also going green above 20. We do offer a trade success interactive checklist to kind of help people learn these, and essentially when more of these signals align, it's a higher probability that will continue higher. So we're right at a 4 ranking, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the new RSI Pro is showing bullish divergence here. So we see that where essentially we had lower highs on the RSI, we're seeing higher highs on the price. Bullish divergence. This green circle here has been very useful also in calling the bottoms. It was last time it fired, it was here before this big move, and down in here before these moves. When they do align, they really are more powerful. So the ERI arrow there, the TSI green and above 20 there, the RSI Pro on this weekly time frame. The weekly time frames are the longer term moves, while there might be some volatility on a daily basis. So anyway, guys, that's all I have time for today. Markets are looking strong-ish, but not quite ready. We're seeing a couple of ones that are ready to go, and I'm going to share a couple tomorrow that I think are micro cap buys. So please join us over here for that tomorrow, and just get registered, free to join. And I'll be showing these signals in a little more detail and looking at the markets nice on a quiet Saturday, noon Eastern. Just go to moonstream.io/max training, and I'll just drop that in there. It's going to redirect to the actual page, but that's easy to remember. Max training on the end, and then you'll be able to join. So hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. Sorry for the hiatus there. Again, I was a little bit of a vacation down in Mexico, so that's and finally back, and we'll be doing more of these as we go forward. So keep an eye out for all of that. And with that, you guys, I'm just going to wrap up here, and I'll go back to the trader on my desktop here, give you a quick wave. By the way, if you do like the content, please hit like and subscribe down below. It helps sort of get this out to more people, and we do have an edge. We are helping people succeed in these markets. So, hey, let's spread the word. And also, big thanks to Max for letting me come on and talk with you guys in these chats and videos. So, if you don't mind, just hit the like. It really helps Max out. And we'll look forward to talking to you guys this Saturday at noon Eastern. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.